Welcome to Being Friends with Jess and Toni-ann, an inside look at our friendship, millennial things, sports, and pop culture. Come laugh with us, or maybe at us, and let's be friends.
Welcome back, friends.
Episode 14.
Yeah, we're kicking it off. I don't sound as bad as I did last week, thankfully, for all of your sake. But we're feeling better. We're on the mend. Still on medicine though, so I don't have anything good in my china today.
True. What do you have? You like tea? What are you still doing the tea? The emergency?
No, I just have a Stanley.
Oh, okay. Well, hydration is...
But I will have you know that I drank emergency 3 days in a row.
Wow, I'm so proud of you.
But I drank it on Tuesday, and then I drank it Wednesday, and then I drank it Thursday, and I still was not feeling better, and that was when I went to the doctor.
Well, emergency is more for preventative measures. It doesn't heal you once you're already sick.
Okay, yeah, but it's just still like, do something for the soul.
That's chicken soup.
Oh my God, remember Chicken Soup for the Soul?
I used to love those books.
I actually don't think I read like a Chicken Soup for the Soul. Like, I never read the book.
Oh, I always did.
No, like, I think I've read like excerpts, but whatever. You know what I mean? I can't, but I don't think I read the actual book. Like,
oh, I did.
I know that I knew stories from there, but like, I don't know how because I didn't read then.
Oh, I couldn't tell you one story from it. I have, because my memory sucks, but I used to have, they had all different kinds, like chicken soup for the teenage soul, chicken soup for like everything else. I don't know.
Right. I remember that. I feel like one of the stories in Chicken, this is going to get really weird really fast. I feel like the only story I remember from Chicken Soup, and again, I didn't read it, but I feel like somebody told me that they were reading it. This is so bad that I'm laughing, but also I don't know if somebody just told me this and I believed it because, like, you know me, I believe everything. So, I heard that, like, in a Chicken Soup, one of them, that there was a kid that was coming home from somewhere and he, like, stuck his head out the window and basically got decapitated.
This might be true. This might be true because that book used to have all kinds of stories like that.
And I really think that, and I think that I was scarred, even though I didn't read it.
It must have ended happily. Like, it must have been like he made a full recovery because, like, why else would it be chicken soup for the soul?
I don't think if you get decapitated, you make a full recovery.
I think he almost got decapitated. I don't think he did.
Oh, I didn't read it. I just remember, like, you said it, and I thought of this kid may or maybe not getting decapitated.
Great start. Decapitation. We love this.
All right, what's in your china?
We're going to have to go back and fact check that for sure.
What's your china?
Otherwise, that would not be chicken soup for the soul if it ended up with somebody being decapitated.
Yeah, like, I don't even know the premise of the chicken soup for the soul, but
it was like heartwarming stories.
That was not heartwarming.
So that's what I mean. It must have been like maybe he was in danger, but like somebody saved him or like something like that.
I don't know. That's the only details that, like I said, the only details I remember.
Oh, wow. Well, all right. I did not have chicken soup. This is my second London glass, my china. It just says beer. The back is like, Camden Town Brewery, so it's local to, but this is not a beer, so I don't know if this is like sacrilege, but it's a Surfside, so, you know.
I like the shape of that glass. Like, I like that it's like skinny, but not like too wide, but just a little bit wider.
This is the one I had to fight tooth and nail for because the pub just kept taking the glasses before, like we were even finishing them, and I'm like, I was gonna potentially get 2 from this pub because it's the same glass. So this one's like a tall, skinny one. The second one was like a fatter, like almost like a soup mug size glass.
You would have loved that.
That would have said beer on it, and I really wanted to take that one home too. Meanwhile, in my brain, I'm like trying to I'm like, I don't know how that would ever fit in my cabinet because it was just such a large, like odd shape. Right. But the guy came in, cleaned, and took it before I could have got it. So they got to keep that one.
Double check that you're on the right microphone.
Oh, good call.
I don't know if it's just like my clogged ears or if you're on the wrong one.
No, I am on the microphone that I would like to be on.
So maybe my computer's just too like low.
It could also be because I'm sitting a little further away because I wanted people to see my shirt, which they could only see half of. But if you know, you know.
They could finish the sentence.
Yeah. So that's why I was sitting a little further back. But I also thank you to everyone who, messaged me and said that Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, was out of the frame. Hopefully this time he's nicely in frame with his America flag.
Yeah, I don't know why that happens sometimes, like when we record, like things that we see while we're recording don't wind up like in the frame when it gets recorded. So I don't know how that happens. So I promise that she's not psychotic. It was there last week.
Yeah.
And very visible to me. Right. But yeah, so anyway, we got off to a hot start with chicken soup with stewed. Let's start with ridiculous things though. I don't really have anything ridiculous. My only ridiculous thing is that I wound up having COVID last week. Right. Which okay, it's not as bad. It definitely wasn't as bad as the first time I had it in 2020. Let's just get that out there. However, I did lose my taste this time. Oh. And that is annoying. Like, I'm aggravated about that. That I find ridiculous. That this
Did you lose your appetite with it or just the taste?
Yeah, I kind of lost my appetite with it. Like, I didn't want to eat, but I had to eat because I was on a steroid. So, like, I had to keep eating because went to the doctor. They gave me steroid because my teeth, like, literally are hurting so bad that I was using a face roller as, like, my face roller that I use for, like, my skincare as, like, an icing mechanism for my jaw and, like, the sinus pressure that I had in my jaw. So, but what I will say is it's just, like, it's ridiculous because, so my husband and my child did not get sick, thank God. But in doing so, like, you thought that it was 2020 in our house again because I really didn't want to get her sick because she's on, like, daily medicine. If she gets sick, she has to stop it. It's, like, whole big thing.
Right.
We just did this because we had an ear infection. So I'm like, girl, you can't get sick. So I was sequestered in my room from Thursday when I found out that I had COVID. Basically until Sunday. The only time I came down was to, like, eat dinner, and I ate dinner in the kitchen alone, like, had to, like, warm my mask downstairs, like, everything else was minimal contact, and thankfully they didn't get sick, but it was just, like, so ridiculous. And then I also breezed through 2 seasons of Southern Charm, so I'm done with that now, on my Bravo kick. So just really the ridiculous bottom line is that I acted like it was 2020. I binge watched TV all weekend. I also finished the book that I started last February. Let me tell you, at chapter 30, things finally got interesting. And the last 20 chapters of the book kept me going. But, like, what was the purpose of the other 30 chapters? Did I need that much backstory? So those are my ridiculous things. Not very ridiculous, but I just have to, like, wear a mask till Friday, which, again, following the rules so that my kid and my husband don't get sick. Then I'm, like, towards the end of my period of whatever this is. I also, like, when they COVID tested me, I was like, do I have to wait, like, 2 to 3 days? Like, when do I find out if I have it? They're like, within an hour. I'm like,
what do you mean? It's rapid now.
I didn't know. Because I haven't.
Within 10 minutes.
No, I only do them, though, like, I've only done, like, the at-home ones. Like, I haven't had a COVID test, like, out in public in a while. So it was like, I don't know how we're doing this anymore.
Well, they're really not doing it anymore, but yeah, if they had to, then I guess it would take, like an hour. What, the PCR? I don't even know.
Literally took like, by the time I got home from the doctor, like, I got emailed my results. So it was fine.
Oh, all right.
It's fine. I feel much better.
Good.
And it wasn't as bad as the first time, so that's a saving grace.
Happy to hear. I mean, the one good thing about 2020, out of all the miserable things that happened, was it was great for TV viewing. So it sounds like
wonderful. Oh yes,
I took advantage of that.
I finished another series, so now I have to decide what my next Bravo binge is gonna be.
That's like the one area of TV that I haven't dabbled in out of all the
Maybe
millions
when
of
you have a
shows I
baby and
watch.
you get sucked into it. Like, I don't even know how this happened to me. I don't.
And I love being part of conversations in pop culture too, so it amazes me I haven't yet. Because
Right.
I
Well,
know that everybody loves to talk about it.
Scandal really put me over the edge. But
Yeah.
I got into Vanderpump because, like, one day the marathon on Bravo was Vanderpump. And then I was like, okay, now I need to know everything about these people because I got some backstory on them.
Right.
And that was when Scandal was happening. And I was like, get me in the ring. I want to know it all.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, when people talk about reality TV, sometimes I'm like, oh, why don't I watch that? Because I like to talk about TV with people. But I also feel like I'm so up here with my TV recommendations and my TV
No, you
taste.
like actual art of television, not people screaming at each other and creating drama. That's
the only screaming drama I like is Jersey Shore. And that's just because I'm like emotionally connected to it from like us growing up with it. That's why.
Right. I feel like that's different.
Yeah. And even that gets a little too much for me sometimes. I'm like, you're all like in your 40s, almost 50 at this point. Can you stop yelling at each other? Like, this is getting a little
they're
out
making
of
money
control.
yelling at each other. So, like, if somebody's
I
paying
know.
you thousands of dollars to yell at your friends, if somebody paid you thousands of dollars to yell at me on national television, you're not going to do it?
I do that for free.
So why we have podcasts. Anyway.
No. Yeah.
What's your ridiculous thing?
The only ridiculous thing that I can think of, which I will have to tell you during this conversation, it went right out of my head. So I was just about to speak it out, hoping that it would come to me as I was speaking it. Oh, I thought about it. Okay. This last weekend, again, ridiculous things equals rants. Let's just say that, okay? This last weekend, I went up to Vermont to ski, okay? My ankle is finally healed. The cortisone shot's working great. They got 15 inches of snow this week. The mountain was 100% open. All the trails were open. I'm like, I'm going, right? So I drive up myself on Friday. And I like to leave on Fridays early, skip out of work a little early because I don't want to hit traffic, obviously.
Right.
So I left around like 3:00. And
also, skipping out of work early, like, you have your email on your phone when you get to point A to point B.
And I wrote on my laptop, and once I got
somebody could call you, like...
Yeah. Which nobody did. Friday afternoons, like, nobody's really working. Let's get real. But if you ask me, I'm working hard. But anyway, so yeah, anyway, I drive up, and my whole trip for the most part is the New York State Thruway, like all the way up 87, and until you like cut over into Vermont last minute. And whose idea was it? I want to say it was Cuomo's, just because I like to blame him for everything, even though he's not even in office anymore for like years. Whose idea was it to do construction and redo every single rest stop on I-87 all at the same time?
Wait, they just did this on the Turnpike, though, too.
So every single rest stop was closed.
Yeah,
for food,
I don't know why that's
and only every other one has bathrooms. So, I'm a young woman. Not that I need to stop every 5 seconds to pee. I can make it in a 4-hour car ride and usually not stop at all. But I did eat and have a big coffee to start my trip. So about 3/4 of the way, I wanted to get off the pee for 5 seconds. And nope, this one's not open. Nope, this one's only porta potties. No, I'm like, this is one road. Do every other.
You can't like get off a regular exit, or no? Because there's no exit.
I could have, but I didn't want to cut into my time. Like, the whole point of rest stops is to not go off your route.
Oh, listen, I understand. I get you. The same thing, though. They did the same thing on the the Turnpike here.
So going up there, luckily I do Route 17 before I get on the Thruway. So there is a Chick-fil-A in Ramsey, New Jersey that is right before it turns into 87. And so I did get some Chick-fil-A, although it was very difficult to eat the chicken sandwich and the waffle fries while driving, I will just say.
Chick-fil-A, not driving friendly. Check.
And that's when it definitely helps to have like, a co-pilot, which I did not have, obviously. Right. And then I got up there, whatever, and I brought a Trader Joe's meal that I ate for dinner once I got to the condo, like whatever. And then coming home on Sunday, we skied. We were on the mountain all day Sunday, and then we left the mountain at like 4. And then I went back to the condo, changed, got my shit, and drove home. So it was like a long day. So I stopped at Starbucks. Starbucks was doing a BOGO, so I got 2 lattes for the price of 1, which was very nice.
Did you need 2 lattes?
Absolutely not. And I told Andrea this too because I left right before them, and
as you're saying that, you're like BOGO, but you were by yourself. So why did you use that?
So I said to her, make sure you add the BOGO thing so you could get, because she was gonna stop at Starbucks too when they left the condo, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I just got 2 lattes, and then I typed back to her 5 minutes after. I'm like, did I need 2 lattes? Absolutely not.
Like, it would have made sense if you got like 2 grandes to make like a venti.
Well, I got 2 grande lattes.
Oh, okay.
And like
so
I drank one in the
does
car,
make sense.
and then I sipped the second one a couple, but then I did end up just putting it in my fridge, and I had it this morning. So like
There
I
you
just
go.
heated it up in the microwave. Yeah, if Starbucks is gonna give me BOGO drinks with that drink is usually $6, I'm gonna get 2, even if they don't. I have no need
For
to
the
have
principle of it.
It's just, you know me and my principles. You know me and my principles. So I got my latte, but now I'm driving home, and now I'm starving because this is coming home Sunday. Because when I'm on the mountain, I don't eat because I don't want to have to like go to the bathroom with all my crap on, like everything like that.
Yeah,
Plus,
that
then you're
sounds
like
very
really
inconvenient.
Yeah. Plus, then you're like very like bloated and like full and like exercising on the mountain, like moving around, skiing. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. No.
Also, it was freezing, so I don't, and that just added to the fact that I didn't want to like have to worry about the bathroom and everything. So,
Okay.
but I do, my lunch when I'm on the mountain is beer.
That's my
like,
lunch.
like we go in at like 12, between 12 and 1, and my cousins, like, some of them bring their own lunch, some of them go up to the counter and get like a sandwich, and I'm just like,
And here's
I'm going to the
Toni-ann
bar.
with the beer.
That's my lunch.
So
It
did
works
you eat on the way home?
So I wanted to. Full circle back to the rant. Thank you for redirecting me because I'm losing track.
Yeah, you were really losing track there.
No, I did not eat on the way home because I wanted to stop at a rest stop, and it took me like 3 rest stops to find food. And then the one that I stopped at was like a newer redone one, like one of the newer ones that had Shake Shack, Chick-fil-A, Panera. Ooh. And I was like, I could definitely go for some Shake Shack. The line for Chick-fil-A was closed because it was Sunday. I forgot about that. I'm like, why is Chick-fil-A closed Sunday? The Panera's, I'm not a Panera fan. I'm over Panera. Not going to stop at Panera anymore.
I'm over Panera too.
It is just elevated hospital food. It is ridiculous.
No, you know what the thing is? That it used to be like affordable. Mm-hmm. So it was like, okay, this is worth the money because it was at the right price point. Now, no, what do you want to live for this sandwich that is less than mediocre?
The you pick 2? It's got to be up to like $15 at this point.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I refuse. So
and they got rid of the baked potato soup. So really, goodbye.
I'm a broccoli cheddar girl, but I that was a popular one. I could understand that being.
And I've tweeted about them at them multiple times about it, and they're like, you can find it in your local grocery store. I'm like, I don't want it in my local grocery store. I want it in a bread bowl from your establishment.
So that's Panera. And then, of course, because Shake Shack was the only place that was open at this place that wasn't Panera, it had a huge line. It was like City Field lines at this rest stop in Albany. I'm like, what are we doing here? So I did not eat. So I peed, I got back in the car. Now I'm pissed. I still had like 2.5 hours to go. So now I'm driving and I'm like, oh, when I get back to Route 17 in Jersey, I'll stop somewhere and get food there. But by the time I got there, I'm like, now I just want to get home. Like, now I'm like 40 minutes away. I just want to get home. So I ended up getting home, and I just made like something in my freezer that was Trader Joe's again. But at that point, it was like almost 9 o'clock too. It's also like, I don't eat that late usually.
You're like, I don't want to eat. Right.
Yeah. So then I was just starving. So then I had ice cream.
Listen, you got to do what you got to do to make yourself full before you go to bed.
But the moral of the story is I wouldn't have had to do that if the rest stops were just functional. Also, they have like airport prices in those rest stops. I don't know who they think they are.
They have the same staff as the people working at airports. That's why they have to pay them.
And I blame Cuomo, who resigned from this position about 4 years ago. Because again.
Put the blame on him.
Why not? He's got the blame for so many other things. And that's that. So that was my rant / ridiculous thing, is that if you're going to plan out restoring rest stops, which I'm all for.
Yeah,
We like
rotate them.
things.
Don't do them all at once.
They're in a line. Just do one at a time. What are you doing them all at once for?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
And
get it.
Rant.
I literally don't. I can't help you there. I'm sorry.
That's right. I'll persevere. I have to bring more snacks on my road trips. I think that's the thing. Because I go for things that I want to eat sandwich-wise. And without a co-pilot, it's very hard to do that. And then when
Right.
but I don't want to stop either. So I need to just bring more like hand snacks.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
For you. I like that idea. I have a question. Are we the only people not making our own bread?
Is this related to the bread bowl?
No, totally different from the bread bowl. I just feel like everyone and their mother, and I don't know if it's because it snowed this weekend, but I feel like I'm the only person that is like not making my own bread. Like people are out here making sourdoughs and sandwich bread for like the week for their kids, and I just need to know, like, when did we start this trend? Why do we start this trend? Do we think that we are colonial women?
I was like, you're going back in time.
Like, literally, this is are we going to colonial? I feel like we're in colonial times. And I also need to know, most importantly, this is my number one question, not even the colonial times. How does one have the willpower to make a loaf of bread and not eat it as soon as that shit comes out of the oven? Because this is why I'm not making my own bread. Do I think that your sourdough looks fantastic? Yes. But I have a sister who used to make focaccia, and let me tell you, that thing did not last more than one day. So where is the bread going? Because it's all these skinny people that are making their own bread. So I guess good for you, because obviously you have willpower because you're skinny already. But like, how?
I'm thinking that is what they do. They like use it throughout the week. And so it's like they're not eating it all at once. But I would be with you. I'd be eating it throughout.
Yeah, like I'm not understanding how we do that. I just don't get it.
No. I saw a TikTok today about how like
so many people are making their own bread. And I think it's also obviously because, like, you know, I guess it's cheaper to make your own bread, one, and it's healthier, yes, two.
Time consuming.
But how much time does that take? These people are starting this bread. I didn't even know, like, apparently you need a starter. These people are starting
bread. That thing is alive? Like the yeast, like.
Yeah.
It's like alive. It's like it's a living thing.
That's I know yeast is a living thing, because when I tried to make the homemade donuts for the baby's birthday, which we didn't end up going that route, but like you do have to like make it rise, but I only made it rise like one day, not like a whole like starter. Like these people have like this jar, and then you got to watch it grow for days, and then you have to like you have your little like thing. It is so much work. I'm like,
I guess it's the same as like if you were into tending plants. Like it's like a hobby.
Yeah, but like watering a plant takes 10 minutes, if that.
Now you gotta prune it, you gotta snip it. You gotta like know temperature to keep it in, put some light on it.
I don't know. All I know is that like I feel like, am I supposed to be making my own bread?
Honestly, the more we have this conversation, I feel like I should be making some bread. I feel like we're missing out.
We probably are, but like again, willpower. I don't have the willpower. I can't. This would be self-sabotage.
Well, you would have willpower because how long it would take you to make it, you'd want to savor it. I don't think you'd spend 3 days making it just to eat it in an hour.
No.
Maybe that's the key. Maybe you.
This also made me just miss. So there used to be this restaurant when I lived with my grandparents when I worked at Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be this restaurant. We went there literally 3 days a week. It was an Italian restaurant, and they made their own homemade bread. And then, like, when I see people making their bread, I just think of their bread, and they closed. So, like, that makes me sad too. That was totally irrelevant to the story, but
okay. I will say though, not that we don't like Panera, but their baguettes are pretty bomb.
No, their bread is great. The bread,
I can eat that entire baguette.
We have
no problem.
We have mastered the bread at Panera Bread, but some of these sandwiches, like, they're so soft. Like, I got some sort of chicken sandwich from there, and the bread was like, the whole sandwich was too heavy for the bread that it was on, and I was like, This doesn't work. This
Yeah.
was not worth the money because now the sandwich is falling apart.
Yeah. I didn't need to reopen the Panera story. I just thought of their baguette and I thought about, wow,
No, the
that was some
baguettes,
good bread.
the
Some
baguettes
good
are
bread.
great.
We
They're
used to
so
order
great.
catering for Panera all the time in the city for work, and they would just give you baguettes upon baguettes, and I would just take it home. Like, I'd legit take a whole baguette home and just eat it. So imagine the satisfaction if you made it yourself.
I don't know. Maybe.
But like, do you need a bread maker, or can you just make it in the oven?
Well, no. That's the other thing. I think you have to proof it then, and you have to. There's a lot of steps. It's a lot of steps. It's very time consuming.
Well, my apartment's so hot that you could prove it literally just sitting out on my counter. But
You probably could, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know the process. I didn't look into it.
your cousin made us a bread for New Year's Eve. She said it was really easy.
She made that bread herself?
I think she said she made that bread herself.
No,
Did she make that up?
I thought she just put the butter candle in the bread.
I thought she said she made the bread.
No,
and
I
made the
wasn't
butter
paying.
candle.
I wasn't paying attention. All I cared about was eating the bread. Exactly.
I'm pretty sure
the
she
bread
told
was
me
delicious.
how she made it too, and I remember saying, "Wow, that's really easy." Not that I can remember how she said she made it, but
All right, I guess I'll have to ask her.
Jessica, if you're watching this, please
That
send
was cool with the candle in the middle.
recipe. Yeah, that was really
Alright,
cool.
Well, we'll find out. I know. Anyway, so that was really the only topic of substance that I had for today. Because when you have nothing to do for 4 days in your room, you're just literally on Instagram and watching Bravo, and these were my thoughts.
I did get the notification right before we started this podcast that the MLB Hall of Fame voting was today.
Oh, wait, yes, I heard it on the news, but I was not tuned in, so tell me who got in.
It was Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer. He was
Okay.
the Twins catcher. I remember him having a very nice booty. And it was, who was it? Adrian Beltre, and Todd Helton. So
Someone,
exciting.
Gary Sheffield, was it? Maybe. I think
He's
this was
not
his
in it.
last, it was somebody's last attempt
Oh, okay.
to get into the Hall of Fame. Is he on the
Yep,
ballot though?
it was Gary Sheffield. Yep.
Yeah, so it was his last, this was his last eligible ballot. I heard that part, but I didn't hear who got in.
David Wright, this was his first year on the ballot. I think. Maybe not, but he didn't obviously get voted in, but he is above the 5% that he's required to get for next year, so he's still on it for next year.
Okay.
That's a conversation we could have. Everybody knows how much we love David Wright. Also, pause. I'll restart this way. Speaking of baseball Hall of Fame, damn, what was I just about to say before I stopped
David
myself?
Wright, our love for David Wright.
Oh, our love for David Wright. Was that what we were going to say?
I don't know. I think that's where you were going.
What the
We can talk about how our friendship really was built on the foundation of us both having the same I Love David Wright shirt that we found out that we both have. And that was a key stepping stone in our friendship, even though it wasn't part of my first story on the first ever podcast, but that just came back to me.
Yeah, but I had a thing. I was going in on a whole topic of conversation. I stopped myself to talk about the timer, and now I can't remember what I was about to do. It was about to be a whole conversation.
Old.
Huh?
Well, I said, this is called getting old.
Oh my God, what is wrong with me?
This is story
about David Wright. This happens to me every time, people, just so people know. This is my memory. I should get checked out. This is horrific.
I think that we're going to have to curb the David Wright conversation then, because we have nothing to talk about, because I don't know where you were going with that.
What was I going with? Oh,
I don't know, because I'm not a mind reader. We'll come back to it.
Right.
I thought you were going to say, I just got a notification on my phone about the Oscar nominations.
No, but there were some snubs.
Ken got nominated, and Barbie and the director did not. And
it's
that was
the point of the movie.
Entire point of the movie. And Ryan Gosling literally came out and was like, there is no Ken without Barbie.
Aww,
and there is no movie without Margot Robbie, and Greta Gerwig. That's literally what he said. But they got nominated in other categories, but not best lead or which like
that's kind of crazy.
What? Listen, what? I'm not saying that like
none of them are gonna win.
I understand
but, like, they should be nominated.
Right. That's exactly like the movie was well done. No matter how silly the premise is, or if you did not like it, the movie was well done. Yeah. That's all I have to say. So that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. But so that's where I
didn't actually look at the full list of nominees yet, but I'm sure it's.
I know that Oppenheimer is obviously it's most nominated. And then
that's the front runner.
There was the one with Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know the name of it. The
Native American.
The girl one. It was the Martin Scorsese
Flower
film,
Moon or something like that.
Yes, the girl that's nominated in that, she's the first ever nominated Native American.
That's cool.
So that was cool. I'm like, okay, well, that's one step in
She's not gonna win
direction.
either, but that's cool.
No, but it still is cool.
I think we need to stop. Martin Scorsese, listen, he's made amazing movies over the years. He needs to go away. I'm like very over
nominated. Most
I'm
nominated.
So
director.
over him. His movies are always like I said, he's had plenty of greats. I am a fan of his movies, but enough.
He's still making movies that are like.
This is how people must feel about Taylor Swift. That's how I feel about Martin Scorsese. I'm like, go away. Like, enough is enough. Give someone else the spotlight. Like, that is how I feel about Martin Scorsese. Every time you think he's going to retire, he comes out with another movie. And, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio's like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, always.
Why wouldn't he be?
And poor Leo, he's not going to win for this either. So he's got that one win for killing a bear and sleeping in its pelt, or a horse or whatever he was doing, that weird shit. He almost got killed and raped by a bear, and that's what got him an Oscar. It's literally the premise of the movie.
Censoring you.
It's literally the premise of the movie.
I never saw the movie, actually.
Revenant?
Yeah. Didn't look like my cup of tea.
He was assaulted by the bear, and it was almost with a private part. Is that better to say? I mean, I don't know what to say. And that's what got the poor guy an Oscar. Not Titanic.
Not Wolf of Wall Street.
Not Catch Me If You Can. Not The Aviator. Not Wolf of Wall Street. There's so many movies this kid could have won for, and this is the one he had to win?
They finally were like, he's doing anything to win. We have to give it to him.
The poor guy. Oh, my God. But, yeah, he'll never win again. That's it. They gave him one, and they're like, who else? Who just won for the first time at the Globes that he's been nominated forever and he never won? And he finally won.
I don't know. I don't even think I watched the Golden. I didn't watch the Golden Globes, actually. Because I couldn't get it to work, remember? I couldn't get the app to load.
It might have been on the TV side, not on the movie side. But it was somebody that, like, is always nominated and never wins, and they finally won. My brain is mush today.
Yeah.
You'd think I just had COVID for a week.
Sorry. I don't know. Maybe COVID made my memory come back because I'm pretty on point today.
You always have a good memory, though.
No, my long-term memory, good. My short-term memory, shit.
Well, I can't do either. So this is what this episode's going to be titled. Toni-ann can't remember shit.
Okay. Thank you for thinking of that.
That was easy enough.
Yeah. So anyway. That's so funny.
I'm still in the back of my mind thinking about what I was going to go into that David Wright conversation about.
I don't know what you were going to say. I don't know.
It's going to drive me nuts.
All right. Well, when you remember, you will put in the note and we'll talk about it the next week.
Yeah. I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you wish to ask?
One more comment about football. Quick. This weekend with the playoffs. Lots of crazy games. Taught me that it all comes down to the kicker. The whole season comes down to the kicker. Yeah. I will just say that for all of you haters who think Taylor Swift is a distraction to the game, I didn't hear you saying crap, and I love him, about Jason Kelsey parading himself half naked around the stadium the whole entire game. Everybody was so enjoying.
I saw a
much.
theory. Wait, I saw a theory, and somebody was like, "Is Jason acting like making the cameras go to him so that people don't complain about Taylor being at the game?"
I don't know. Either way, he's hilarious.
Either
Loved
way.
him. Loved the Kylie
First of all, I
reactions.
want to be the girl. I watched an interview of the little girl that he lifted up to show the sign to her,
cute.
and I was like, "You're adorable." And the way that she was like, "So Jason was just he finished his beer." He was like, and then he hopped out the window so easily, and the guys in front of me told him to look at my sign, and then he held me up to show her my sign.
So cute.
You're so cute.
Also, that girl was in full like ski gear, like snow pants, jacket. I'm like,
it was her first Bills game ever. Like, I'm like, girl, it was her first Bills game ever. First of all, your sister had season tickets to the Bills game, like to the Bills. So I feel like she used to, didn't she?
She used to, yeah, they used to.
No, that's what I'm saying. So like, I feel like she probably went to every game dressed like that.
No, they did sell a lot of them. I think Joe shared season tickets with somebody else, like they split the season or something like that. But yeah, no, they didn't go to any of those cold. They went to a couple of cold games, but like the ones that require you to shovel, no, they did not go to that. That's wild. You as a fan, again, to not rant, but to rant. You complain somebody's a distraction. This isn't what football is about. Those people are the same people that are sending death threats to somebody because they missed a field goal. The man had to deactivate all of his social media accounts because he was getting death threats.
Listen, the thing is that men are overly sensitive and they just don't want to believe it.
I mean, there's women too, like that, come to me and say, "Oh, Taylor Swift this, Taylor Swift that," and I'm like, just watch the game. Like, why do you gotta be bothered? Like, I'm
like, could you imagine if it's a Detroit Chiefs Super Bowl? It's gonna be like Eminem anytime that Detroit does something well, and Taylor and Brittany when the Chiefs do something well.
If you believe the rumors about how everything's rigged and
I know the conspiracy theory.
It's gonna be the 49ers and the Ravens.
I know, I want to see. But I really do. Okay, so my cousin on the other side, he's a huge Lions fan, and like obviously we're Jets fans, so we have the same like demise as the Lions. Like, we've never had anything good. So for his sake, for Michael's sake, I'm rooting for the Lions.
Oh, they're a very good like Cinderella story.
Right. And like,
well, yeah, like they're the underdogs in the whole bracket. So.
Right. Like, listen, I like Brock Purdy. I'm not going to be mad if the 49ers win, but I just think it would be nice for them to get there.
And as much as for our, storyline, it would be great if the Chiefs got to the Super Bowl. I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I am not like pulling for them to win just for the sake of somebody being in the stands. Like, I don't need that.
All I have to say is that
Patrick Mahomes drives me nuts. So
he drives me insane.
I really don't need him to succeed. I don't.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's like, is your crush? This is how I felt about the Chiefs for the past however many years. I want Travis Kelce to do well, but I don't like Patrick Mahomes, so I'm like constantly like at a crossroads here. But I really do feel like, though, if the Ravens and the 49ers make it, the entire world is going to go psychotic over this whole logo thing.
Yeah,
more than they are already
this year.
Right.
Also,
it's been like that way for the last 3 years, they said.
Say what you want about how crazy the Bills Mafia is, but to go the night before, or 2 days before some people, to shovel out the field as a fan, and to do that
they weren't even paying them this time.
No, to do that for like a day and a half straight, and then your team loses. Can you imagine? All to lose? I actually feel bad. Like, I'm like, you.
It was a great game, though. Like, the game was so good, you can't even be mad about it, No,
it was definitely a good football game, but I know that I actually haven't talked to my sister or her husband yet about this because I'm not touching that with 10-foot pole. Same way that if when the Mets lose horribly, I don't expect her to reach out to me. But I just know that, like, they're stewing over it, I'm sure, because
they literally named their dog
year,
after Josh Allen.
It's Josh Allen, the AFC Championship every year is just a disaster. Actually, they didn't even make it to the AFC Championship this time. It's a disaster. So,
Yeah.
That's the breaks. It be like that sometime. It do be like that sometimes. But, it's just, would you rather be a team that's always in the pits, or would you rather be a team that gets to the almost the top every year just a freaking choke? I don't know. I feel like I'd rather just stay in the pits team.
I don't know, because I feel like we've had that with the Mets before, where like
that's what
really,
I mean. I'm
really
thinking back to 2 wild cards ago, and I was in Vermont watching the wild card game in
2016.
No, where they just recently got to the wild card game in 2022.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Forgot about that one.
The 3-game series.
Oh yes, when I had the baby.
Oh yeah, duh. You were giving birth.
No, she was home. No. We came home. That was like her first like playoff.
Oh yeah, because it was Columbus. It's Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah.
Or around there. It was.
Yeah, she was only like
Vermont,
2 or 3. She was like 3 weeks old. I don't remember.
So I was up in Vermont, and I remember scarring my cousins watching that series because they just lost so horribly.
Yeah, when we made ourselves look a fool about Joe Musgroves and his ears, which I still think that there was something on his ears. You can't tell me otherwise.
So
no one's ears sweat that
year.
much.
I don't want that every year. I'd rather them just not make the playoffs at all.
Yeah, 101 games. Like, what? I forgot about that. Why'd you have to bring that up? You just ruined my night.
Sorry. 101 wins just to lose in the wild card, all because Atlanta beat us one more time than we beat them.
So stupid.
And then at least Atlanta did win that year.
Sure.
But,
yeah, the third place Phillies did.
Yeah, it was very interesting playoffs. Another playoffs that maybe if people looked a little closer might be a little rigged. But isn't that everything these days? I mean, whatever. I'm rooting for my boxes this year, as per usual, for the Super Bowl. That's all I care about.
Always for the boxes.
Yeah. So that's it. But I don't know. One day, probably right after we stop recording this podcast, I'm going to remember what good topic I had about to go for David Wright. And
we'll just bring it up next week. It's not the end of the world.
There is going to be
another episode.
There will be another episode, and it's just, you're witnessing me be so frustrated with myself that I never remember shit. Like, ever. It's so frustrating. And I do crosswords every day and try to keep my mind sharp, and it's just like it's not working. It's not working.
I'm sorry. That is all we have for today, friends. And we thank you for being our friend. Hopefully you can see Toni-ann's Grogu today.
He's so
cute. If you can't, she just looks like a dummy pointing at nothing again.
Speaking of Grogu, can I just say that this weekend I brought myself a puzzle. Somebody bought me for one Christmas, maybe it was Laura, a Grogu like 3D puzzle. It was only 500 pieces. I was going to do it in Vermont, waiting for my cousins to come up on Friday by myself. I'm like, I'll kill time. I'll eat my dinner. I'll do my puzzle. The hardest puzzle in creation. I don't know what I was thinking. It was just 3 colors, black, green, and like gray. And I could not do it for the life of me. So love you, Grogu, but I will not be doing that puzzle. I did the border. My cousins came in and were like, how long have you been doing this puzzle? I'm like, about an hour and a half. They go, and you only got the border done? And I proceeded to crumble it all back up and put it in the box. So.
Okay.
Probably didn't have to share that story, but Grogu reminded me of it.
This is what it's like. This is what it is like.
Look at my lovely display here. I'm going to start putting random things here for people to enjoy.
Yeah, I'm in the dark office. I really got to get pictures on these walls. I'm sucking at it.
That's my family vacay from, that's the family shot from the wedding.
You were just adding to this.
We'll cut this out. We'll cut it out. On that note.
On that note, that's all we have for this week. Toni-ann has just finished her beer in the nick of time. And thanks for being our friend.
Thanks for dealing with us. Love yas.
Literally, thanks for dealing with us.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, friends. Wow, you listened to the whole thing. Thanks for listening. Please be sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platform and share it with your friends. Ratings, reviews, and comments help as well. See you next week. Thanks for being our friend.